It's been a great year to Liferay. We have become a multi-product company, as you all know. We have released recently the e-commerce, which is an amazing product that integrates with forum, blogs, anything into the portal. We have Analytics Cloud, which is a very different way of doing software in Liferay because it's a cloud platform that we collect users' behaviors, the user trajectory into the portal. So it's a very interesting project for us. And finally, DXP 7.1. This one is the best digital experience platform ever released. So we love these different projects that we are doing right now. And it's changing the way we see things. All these little pieces together, they are helping us to understand our customers and to make you feel more productive. And we want, as a goal for the next few years, to make you, to reach your business deliverables. We want to make you very productive in order to make your customer expectations and satisfy your customers in all the areas of development. And this is not easy. We know that what your customer wants and what you can deliver, those are very two different things. They usually are limited by time, deadlines, and things like that. And after you reach the customer expectation, you have to deal now with advantage to how to compete and be better than the other ones. That's hard. To sustain a competitive advantage is not easy. Once you get that, you have another problem, which is continue innovating. Continue innovating is also hard, especially because you are competing with big companies, Apple, Google, Amazon. They have big pockets and they have all the engineers available for them. So it's really hard to innovate when you are competing with these people. And finally, digital transformation. Digital transformation is not only a product. You just don't buy DXP and you are ready. You have to rethink the way you do software. You have to rethink the way your company operates, the processes you have, how to digitalize that. So you have to relearn how to do things in order to be ready for the future. And with DXP Cloud, we are introducing the last missing piece to make you more productive. And I would like to show you today a little bit of this product. Before going to the product, I would like to talk about the 3 pillars that made us to think about that. The first one is cloud. Cloud is everywhere. In your home, in your device, in your thermostat, in your car, everywhere, we are surrounded by cloud. And this is happening. This is the next big thing. And if you consider that in the 90s, when the dot-com boom happened, what is that? Everyone had a company, that supermarket or I don't know, a restaurant, and this www thing appeared. Everyone wants to be online, to have the presence online. If you knew how to build JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, you became rich. You became very successful as a company. And it's happening again. If you are ignoring cloud on your company, if you are saying, no, it's fine, I don't need cloud, I'm more secure in my on-premise servers, at some point in the next few years, it's going to hit you, I guarantee. And 50% of the software that used to run inside your company, like HR softwares, administration softwares, all the things, they are moving to the cloud. This year, 50% already moved to the cloud. So it's a big number. It's radically changing. And Forrester predicts in this year it's going to be a $178 billion market. So it's happening a lot of things in the cloud, and you can't ignore that. And our clients talking to us, our global services team going to customers, understanding what they were doing, they realized that they were lost in most of the decisions about cloud because they didn't know what is better for them. It's better to use AWS, it's better to use Google Cloud. What is the best decision? 40% of the clients, they were using mixed cloud platforms. And this shows how insecure and how they are trying to grow into this area and how they are trying to figure that out what's the best for them. And with DXP Cloud, we are trying to make this decision for you and to help you to gain time on that. The second one is data. Data is very important for us as well. The number of data on the cloud grows a lot. By 2020, we are going to have 45 times more data than now. And the IT employees, it's only growing 40% by that moment. So how they are going to change, how they are going to handle all this data, all this technology? We have to automate, we have to use solutions, we have to be smart and not spend time doing over and over again the same thing. Two-thirds of companies, they say they have a strategy for managing data, but only 22% follows it. So it shows like, okay, I think I have a way, I use Amazon, I use Google Drive for files, I use this, and that. But in fact, they don't use this very well. They're still learning. And then finally, security. With all these big scandals going on, like Facebook, big companies breaching data, personal information, we want to make sure that we help you as a customer to not have the same problems. And because of that, we have been spending a lot of time on this. In the past 4 months, we spent with auditors inside Liferay, trying to audit everything, see how we do things, and we created lots of policies to help you and us to operate together in this new product. We created policies for disaster recovery, vendor management, incident response, risk mitigation. It's like a long list. It's more than 250 controls. And I'm glad to say that we are SOC 2 certified, and we are working the ISO 2700 and maybe FedRAMP next year. So it's a lot of things going on. And then because of all these things, because cloud is getting so interesting, we decided to make this product. And cloud is not about servers and computers anymore. If you think cloud is a VM that you buy on Amazon, that's not that. Cloud is how to make you build great softwares, how to build a great product without thinking about where to host, how to scale, how to secure, and all that things. And DXP Cloud is here to help you with deployment, development, and evolving your DXP platform. So let's give a practical example to be more clear on all this theory. So imagine you are building, I love wine, so let's say I want to build a wine website. You pick a product, let's say I pick Liferay. You pick Liferay, you have content, you have images, maybe I can even deploy the e-commerce on that. I have everything ready. But in order to be online, in order to make my product release, I need to think about some things. 3 challenges. First challenge, I need to figure out what the OS I need. It's going to be Linux, Ubuntu, Debian. What version of Debian? Is that already patched with all the security fixes? Or what kind of server do I need? It's going to be i3, M3. What kind of server do I need in Amazon? I don't know. I have to decide. And then network, what the throughput of your network, 25 gigabits, 10 gigabits between the database and the server. So how do you decide that? After that, you have to secure, you have to buy SSL certificate, you have to make sure your certificate changes correctly on the browser, you have to renew the certificate often. So it's a lot of things to think about. Then monitor, everything is going good, optimize performance. So it's a lot of work. I don't want to do that all the time. I don't want the customers to be repeating that all the time. And after you solve all these problems, you have another problem. Liferay was the choice. So then I need to know how to configure cluster. I need to know how to install, monitor, configure my scaling, my load balancer to be able to stick session correctly, the licensing, how do I handle the licensing, and all the things, backup, turning, and everything. So solved challenge 2. And finally, DevOps. You have everything online. How do you deploy a portlet? Most of the clients, they think about how to deploy Liferay to the cloud, but they don't think about how I'm going to do the development. How do I going to deploy my portlets, my applications? How do I get speed on being productive on that? And that's why we keep 3 productivity metrics in mind when we build this product. One is to improve the software development of your company by improving the deployment. So we are giving all the tools necessary to be faster on that. And the final result is that your software operation is going to be better. Why is that? Because when you have a better deployment, you can deploy more frequent. And if you fail, you can fail faster. You can recover faster. And you're going to have a better availability as a consequence of that. And this is the metrics to keep in mind when we think about the goals of the product for you. It's not only deploying. In the end, we want you to focus, deliver, and evolve faster. Let's take a look in the product. So let's say you bought the DXP Cloud right now as a customer. You know Liferay, right? So you bought. What do you get? The first thing you get to start playing with it is, of course, all the knowledge you have about Liferay, development, portlet, that's continue. You don't need to change any of this. You don't need to relearn that. So once that's said, we give you a repository already pre-configured with the Liferay Workspace, EE. So you can import in your favorite IDE, IntelliJ, Eclipse, anywhere. And inside this Workspace EE, you have empty folders, deploy folder, config folder, license, hotfix, and script. So those folders are basically extension points. If you want to drop your portlet, if you want to drop your hotfix, you can just do the same way you do right now. Portal.xt files, you can change them, you can customize them as well very easily. And after you have that set up, How do you do the continuous integration? As a developer, the most powerful thing you have is automation. Of course, you cannot automate everything, but things that make sense to be automated, they should. And continuous integration is one of them. And because of that, we already did that for you. We configured Jenkins inside your application. So when you get the DXP Cloud, you get a Jenkins pre-configured. And this Jenkins has nice theming. We have already all the pipeline set up for Liferay DXP. It's already hooked to your repository that you're going to receive when you buy the DXP Cloud. And let's take a quick look. You log into your Jenkins. You can see that all the pipelines are set for your project. And then you can see the pipeline has very helpful steps like build, analyzing the code, sonar, deploying, everything. You don't need to think about that. You just need to think it's ready. And then let's imagine this scenario that I want a developer to send me a pull request. In this case, Zeno sent me a pull request, and I'm looking at the pull request he sent, and I can see my Jenkins is already testing this pull request. But I'm not sure if it's good or not. I can wait the test, but I need to take a look. The designers need to do a review in the UI. So I don't trust only on the test results. I have to see. So what do? You wait Jenkins to test and to build. After Jenkins build, you can see there the results. You can see how this pull request is being built. Once this is complete, it's going to be available on the DXP Cloud automatically. OK, so it's deployed. So let's see what happens next. When I go to DXP Cloud, it appears in my list of builds, and I can deploy and promote this to any environment. In this case, I'm promoting to development. And you can see in real time what's going on. After my build is tested and ready, I can deploy to any environment. In this case, development, you can see all the services, load balancer, Liferay, database, everything already set for you. You can take a look in the logs and see what's going on. So, OK, moving forward, I trust now. I'm going to merge the pull request. When I go, I can see my pull request now is checked with green. All checks have passed, so I'm good. So then I merged it. So we are not only offering the deployment, we are offering a software development lifecycle to help your company to be more productive. This is what we do inside Liferay for many years. We learned with our global services team what they did, the habits they had, which were nothing more than learned behaviors that they repeated all the time, and it became automatic for them. And because of that, we encapsulated this for you out of the box. You don't need to do anything. You just push the code. But once you have that, you need to think about the environments, because deploying, that's fine. I can merge my pull request. I know I have development, production, but how does that work? How do I guarantee things are actually properly organized? One thing that you have to keep in mind when you see environments is that they are basically scopes in your project. To add a new one, it's very simple. In this case, I'm adding UAT environment. In a few seconds, you have the environment ready. When you create the environment, it's empty initially, but you can promote any build and any data inside that. I'm going to show how to do it. You can even have multiple environments, development, UAT, production, coexisting with different builds, with different collaborators in each of them. And every environment has the same developer lifecycle that we saw before in Jenkins. It's automatically scoped for you. And let's imagine this situation now. I have my environments, I have my Jenkins configured, I have my builds ready, tested, and I can deploy. But now I have different people in my team that I need to manage access. So in this case, I have the tech lead, Johnny, a developer, Vitor, and the intern. So those guys, I trust in them, but they have different skills levels. So what I do is, the tech lead, I can give admin access to all the environments, perfect. The developer, not exactly. I only want him to do read in production, not deploy. And the intern, only read. And because of that, we thought about these complicated controls of management access, and then we did that out of the box as well. We have 3 features that helps you with this. One is team roles. Team roles helps you to invite people to your team with a different scope. So in this case, I'm inviting myself with admin role. And then automatically, when I accept the invitation, I'm going to become administrator. And you can do different roles. You can do contributor, you can do guest for read-only access, and this is out of the box as well. Second, team access. This is very nice because I don't want developers, interns, for example, to access the production environment. I have confidential data of clients. I have sometimes information that are protected by the government or depend on the client, like health data from hospitals and things like that. So I can invite different people per different environments. So I can have only 1 or 2 members in production, I can have 3, 4 members in development, and it's automatically scoped for you. And finally, one of my favorite ones, activities. This is nice because this view gives you an overview of everything. You can see the builds, how long the build took, how many deploys I have, if the deployment and build failed, what every member did in a specific time. So everything is available in this view. So all these features together help us to understand how the project is going. But data, as I said before, is one of our pillars. And that's why I would like to do a deep overview on the way we manage data. Because managing roles, access, that's fine, it's out of the box, but data is very important. And in DXP Cloud, we give you the power to back up your project anytime. You can just click a button in production, and in a few minutes, it's backing up. All the logic to handle the backup, it's automatically there for you. And after a few seconds, you'll see the backup will be available. Okay? So what happens behind the scenes? When we do this backup, in a very summarized way, we compress your document library files. We make sure the integrity is okay. We push to the cloud. We also do an incremental dump of your database that is also guaranteed that its integrity is fine, and then we push those together to the cloud. When we push to the cloud, we make sure we replicate your data. For instance, if you are in America region, North California region, we replicate your data in 2 different separate regions encrypted at rest. And this is very powerful because we are safe that you, as a client, will not worry about data. We can sleep at night thinking about everything is going to be fine if a crash happens. And every 12 hours, the backup runs automatically. And if you need better frequency, you can talk to us and we can customize for you. And you can see in the UI of the backups that you can see when the oldest backup happened, when the latest backup happened, and when the next backup is going to happen. So it's a way to give you like a extra security that things are well and your data is safe and pushed to the cloud. Okay, but backups are not good if you don't have a good restoration strategy. And restoring data is very easy. We made it very easy for you because it's not only restoring data when things goes wrong. You also want to restore data from production to development sometimes. You want to anonymize this data before do that. You want to do a lot of things so then you can actually have a real impression about how your software is before you make any big change or before you release the next version. So in this example here, let's say you pick a backup from last week. You have a list of all the backups and you select one. First, I'm going to create again the UAT environment just to refresh our memories. So it's empty. I just put UAT, create this, and it's ready, empty. And then what's the next step? I go to production environment. I select the backup I want, and I restore in the UAT environment. And after a few minutes, depending on the size of your database, which is not a lot, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, your project are going to be ready with the data from production. And you can see and access the portal information. You can have all the information you have available there safe in a different environment. So you don't need to worry about making any mistakes. And networking is also important. In a traditional deployment, if you ask to your IT team, say, hey, I need a development environment. Can you do for me? Yes, I can do. I will give you in 3 days. Fine. And when they give you, often they don't remember about isolating this environment in a different private network. They don't remember about isolating in different buckets, they encrypt in different ways to anonymize the data. All these things are hard to remember. So in DXP Cloud, we don't do that way. When you create an environment, they are isolated by different private networks. So then if you accidentally connect to a database that is called production, it will not break because you already copied a physical copy to development. So there is no way to break it. It's very hard. Actually, there are ways, but it's very hard to break it in this way we are doing. And in front of every environment, we have a dedicated load balancer. And this load balancer also protects every different environment against flooding or development tests, stress tests, and things like that. And what if you want to connect an environment, production, development, to a VPN to an on-premise data center. So for example, imagine this now. You have DXP Cloud running, you have a production environment, and you have an ERP software running old school in your company that all your database and information for the ERP is there. How do you connect that? In DXP Cloud, we offer a feature called VPN. We only support OpenVPN at the moment, but you can configure very easily the credentials of your VPN. And after you configure that, you just click connect, and in a few seconds, we make sure the tunnel is created and encrypted for you. And then what happens after this is connected is that your environment, your DXP Cloud environment, is connected to your company network. Okay, that's the first step. But how do I make this ERP available as a service inside my project? You have a feature called port forwarding. You can pick the host name or the local IP of the ERP on your local company, in this case 3001, and we give you a random port for that. And when I give you the random port, what happens is that a service is automatically deployed inside your project that do the port forward between your environment and the company, and it's encrypted. So every different port forward is encrypted differently. So then you have this extra security on that. And if you can see here, you can see that I have the 33528 port. That's the port I gave you to access this service running on the company. So for you, it's very easy. Now you can go to portal properties and configure, okay, my ERP, whatever, is this. My LDAP, or my database, is that. So then you have a local reference to your remote server. So this is really nice, and we use that a lot inside Liferay. And okay, everything is good, right? I know how to deploy, my network is fine, but what if things goes wrong? So what happens if everything is right, but then I start to have some issues? The DXP Cloud also offers you monitoring. We have monitoring. You can manually monitor things. You can see memory, CPU, transfer, health, and you have all this data available by APIs if you want to consume. But you don't want to be doing that manually all the time. So because of that, we added a feature that we call alerts. Alerts basically monitor all these metrics, and when they reach a certain threshold, by default 90%, we send information for you. We don't wait the clients to call you saying, hey, it's very slow, or something is going wrong. We inform you. And how do we do that? We have a feature called alerts. So these alerts basically adds to the console and send to the emails of everybody in the team information about, okay, your memory is reaching the end, 90% allocated. So then what do you do now? You have to take an action. It says it's ongoing, the start time, and the duration. And now you have to make a decision now. Do I fix this manually, or do I do something else? If you want to see the logs, you can also see the logs per service. You can see the logs for Liferay. You can see the logs for load balancer. So in this case, I'm going to filter the logs for load balancer. I'm going to see all the load balancer logs. But if I want to see the Liferay logs, I can also filter in the dropdown very easy. You can also use APIs or CLI to access those scoped information. And if you need a deeper access, you can shell inside your Liferay instance. We recommend only doing that for debugging, because any change you made is not going to be persisted because the containers are volatile. So you are going to redeploy that and you're going to lose. But if you want to debug or do some test, you can do that fine. You can see all the instances available. You can access different instances and play around with your files and everything. And also you can do this from the command line. And finally, if you need a heap dump, Java debug, monitoring, things that are more important for the actual application you're developing, we give you a Dynatrace out of the box. You just need to click this button, and then you're going to be forwarded to Dynatrace, and all the information is going to be available for your portal instances there. And okay, I saw my memory was bad, 90%. I got an alert. So what do I do now? Auto-scaling, right? So imagine this situation. We have a Black Friday, and I'm selling wines in my portal. And a lot of things are going to happen because of the high number of traffic. Imagine 3 years ago, or before the DXP Cloud, what you have to do. You have now all these servers there. They are firing. They are completely full. You have to buy a new server. You have to ask IT to configure the server. And then you are still not very good. You need another server. Then you buy another server. And then you configure the server. You spend money. You spend time. And almost there. And then finally you buy the last one. And then what to do with these servers after you finish. Of course, a lot of people are using AWS outscaling, which already prevents you from that. But it's also a lot of work to configure everything to make sure the load balancer is doing right. And with DXP Cloud, we do that for you. We take care about outscaling the licenses and everything. We have a flex licensing model that whenever the outscaling is deployed, we charge you per hour for the outscaling. And you can disable at any time. And you're going to save a lot of money this way, because you don't need to buy the actual license. So in this case, I click here in my alert that you guys saw before. When I click in there, I can see my memory is actually bad. It's almost in the end. And I click here, and I just enable outscale. And I can go up to 10 instances in Liferay. And after a few seconds, another Liferay instance is going to appear, and automatically your traffic is going to be routed to it. So in other words, what happened? Before the Black Friday, traffic is like that. People are using my 3 existing instances. And then when things are getting worse, it's not enough anymore. Outscaling appears, the new clients are being automatically redirected to the new service. So all these things, you don't need to think about. It's already out of the box for you. And once you are done, Black Friday is over, you can click downscale, and you can disable those servers, and you don't need to pay for the full license that you had to pay before in the current model. And then you select, I want to downscale, remove these 2 instances, and that's it. Now you are back to what you were before. And at the end, guys, what we are trying to do is to help you to be more productive. We made this as a goal of the company to be focused on making clients focus on customers and making them productive to reach their deadlines. And the DXP Cloud is a consequence of that. We have a lot of existing solutions that are very good. We have like FireRelay, we have other people that are doing that already. So this is already very good. So why don't go to the cloud? Why do we still do it the old way? And with the DXP Cloud, we are trying to help you also to focus on what is important, to focus on what matters. And in the day one, what you have to think about is what I'm developing, what feature I'm doing. What you are going to do is this, not think about servers, throughput, network, certificates, and things like that. The list of features you get is long. You can go to the website and take a look. And when you subscribe the DXP Cloud, you already get a Platinum subscription if you are not already subscribed to Liferay. You get 24/7 monitoring, you enterprise SLAs for support, and Dynatrace subscription out of the box. And it's a very easy move. If you wanted to try it out, just let us know. We launched that on North America Symposium, October 9th. It's officially available in America, but we have a region already in Europe that we are testing. So if you want to, as a customer, try, if you want to do some things, access our website, take a look in all the features, request a live demo to a sales guy in Liferay, contact your sales representative. They will set up everything for you. You can start playing around, pushing code, and figuring that out how to use the DXP Cloud. Don't forget to rate this talk. Thank you very much.